Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. Back in the day, Cartoon Network, and just every network in general, would have weekly episodes for all of their ongoing series, whether it be every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Every single week on the same given day at the same given time, you would be sure to check out your favorite episode of whatever show you enjoyed. And you always knew that every week at that given time, let's say, remember Har Har Thursdays on Thursday nights at like 7 o'clock, you knew there'd be a new episode of Chowder on the air, and that's something that we really don't see today anymore. It's a criticism that I've had for years now regarding Cartoon Network, and I wanted to discuss today how the way that networks and these companies premiere their new shows today really isn't good for the series and really does hurt them in the long run. But before we get into that, I just wanted to say, if you guys haven't checked out Trainer DC, it's a new Pokemon channel that I've recently relaunched. If you guys like Pokemon, there's some awesome videos on that channel discussing everything Pokemon, but specifically right now we're focusing on Legend Z to A, so if you haven't checked it out yet, be sure to check it out and subscribe. But back to today's topic regarding Cartoon Network and the way modern shows premiere. As I said before, every single week you would always know that your favorite show was going to be on the air. This is how TV always used to work. You would have your usually spring season is when the shows would end, and then they would all pick up again in the early fall / late summer, and the summer would usually be your hiatus period. Some shows were on different cycles, but nevertheless every show really had that same sort of development time where you would have probably 4 to 6 months out of the year where they're airing new episodes. They'd have a few months of a hiatus, and then they come back to air new episodes. In the mid 2010s, we saw a shift in this. We saw a shift where, specifically with Cartoon Network, we're going to use that as the main example here, they really started to air their shows in bunches. They used to call them Steven Bombs for Steven Universe, where you'd have a week or 2 weeks of 2 or maybe 1 brand new Steven Universe episode every single day until they aired all the episodes out. And to me, this never really made that much sense, because in my opinion, in my view, I feel like if you're, having, let's say, an 8th month hiatus for Steven Universe, which at times they did have really long hiatuses. I remember them being sometimes anywhere from 4 to 5 to 6, maybe even 8 months. Let's say you're having an 8-month hiatus. You have basically 2 weeks worth of 2 episodes airing a day, so that's a total of 20 brand new episodes of Steven Universe airing over the span of 2 weeks. Then you'll go 6 to 8 months without having another new episode, and to me that just really hurts your property. That just really hurts the brand, because in that amount of time you're going to lose people, you're going to lose fans of the show, because they're going to forget about it and move on to watching something else. This has happened many of times. I've been guilty of doing this myself. I know other people who do this as well amongst my friends and whatnot. For example, regarding Primal had a year plus hiatus between, well, actually the first half of season 1 had a year hiatus before the second half of season 1 came out, which was absurd. Then there was another year plus hiatus for season 2, and I fell off of the series at that point. I've since caught up on it once they announced season 3, but that's the way you lose fans. That's not the way you keep fans. But nevertheless, that was the way that shows were shifting to premiere new episodes in the mid 2010s, and even the late 2010s we saw more and more of this. We saw that basically no series on Cartoon Network was ever having weekly episodes. Instead, they would have a week-long event that they would hype up, and they'd say, oh, this is when your new Teen Titans Go episodes are coming. It's a week-long special event, which to me, again, just hurts your brand of the show. And not only that, it hurts the brand of the network. And the reason I say that is because you're going to have long periods where you're having reruns after rerun after rerun. You're not going to have brand new shows premiering new episodes at all points of the year, because you're cramming them all into a week or 2 span. And honestly, I feel like this has all gotten worse as we did get into the late 2010s, and especially in the early 2020s. I feel like now, if you look at a lot of series, since streaming has kind of become the medium that these networks are all pushing to put their new content out on, they've become worse with this, because now essentially what they've been doing, some networks have gone back to having the weekly releases, which I do like, and the reason they're doing this again is because they want people to stay subscribed to their streaming services for a longer period of time. So instead of releasing all the episodes on day 1, they'll trickle them out 1 episode a week, so you stay subscribed for 10 weeks as opposed to 1 week, which is a smart move on their part. But at least they're airing the episodes weekly again, because I think for most series that is the better way to air them. Some series are better to binge watch, like I remember Young Justice was a really good show to binge watch season 1 and 2, but nevertheless, I think the better way for most series to premiere is with the weekly episodes. It's just a better way to watch something. And honestly too, I feel like when you binge watch something, you don't remember the little details as much as you do when you're watching something from week to week. But the other thing that came up with streaming, which is what I was getting into before, they are airing them weekly again for the most part, but we're seeing that for whatever reason, all of these shows now are getting shorter and shorter seasons. So yes, while they are airing My Adventures with Superman for 9 to 10 weeks, depending on if they do a 2-episode premiere or not, they are airing it for a longer period of time, but the hiatuses are just as long still. Instead of it being a few months of hiatus like we used to get back in the day, now we're seeing a year plus hiatus for a lot of these series, and that's because these shows take a long time to develop. And when you have a season order of 26 episodes back in the day, because that's what we used to get, 20 to 26 episodes per season per series, when we used to have a 26 episode order, that would last for 26 weeks. But now we're getting series that have a 5-episode order or a 10-episode order, and once those 5 to 10 episodes air over the span of 5 to 10 weeks, they then have nothing ready until the next order goes in, which is usually going to take a year plus to make. It's just that I think as well there's a lot less consistency when it comes to shows getting more seasons. We'll see a lot of shows nowadays get picked up for one season, and then it might get picked up for a second season a year plus later. Like for example, Unicorn Wars Eternals still hasn't gotten picked up for a second season. Does that mean the show is canceled? Yeah, possibly, but it also could mean that they still haven't gotten around to picking it up for a second season. That's happened with other series before. For example, Primal season 2 ended, and I don't know the exact timeline, but I believe it was at least 6+ months before they picked it up for a third season. So this is something we're seeing happen more and more frequently now. They're not putting in these orders, like for example the Rick and Morty order. They ordered 70+ episodes of Rick and Morty all in one shot. That's something that is a rarity nowadays. You don't see that happen anymore, whereas back in the day, most shows when they were picked up got a multiple season order, so that way they never stopped producing the show, so they'd always have new content ready with smaller hiatuses. But nowadays they do these smaller orders with longer times picking them up, where we have these bigger hiatuses, which to me is just hurtful for your brand. It's just hurtful for these properties, and at the end of the day, it ends up hurting the longevity of these shows. It ends up getting shows canceled before they even really got a chance in the spotlight. I'm thinking of shows like Elliot from Earth and Mao Mao Heroes of Pure Heart. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about the way that modern shows premiere. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content from DC Network. If you're interested in some cool Pokemon content, be sure to check out Trainer DC and subscribe to that channel as well. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.